Luke, is this exhausting?
No, I'm just constantly tired.
Okay. So what'd you guys figure out? Luke, you had a good comment about that first line. What was that?
He wakes to sleep since he knows how he's gonna die, so he wakes up every day just
Do you think
knowing
he really?
he
Okay.
knows how and when he's gonna die, but he can't do anything to change it.
I'm not sure. Okay, fair enough. I'm not sure he knows how and when, but he does know what, that he's going to die. But my question, okay, all back here, my question, and we'll cut this short in a second, give you time to read. But look at this. When I read, when I read the first, remember the groupings of lines are called stanzas. And this is what a villanelle does. And this again is, I think, why Vonnegut wanted to cite a villanelle. When I read these first three lines, I wake to sleep and take my waking slow. I feel my fate in what I cannot fear. I learn by going where I have to go. What do I already know about this particular poem? And how does it relate to Vonnegut? Come on, guys.
I think because he knows what's going on or what
Got
will
me there.
happen.
What does he know about the poem itself? Forget what the poem
I
means.
could not hear you.
Sorry. What does he know about the poem itself? Forget what the poem means. But structurally speaking, given that this poem, the villanelle, works on repetition, when he reads those first three lines, I'll just tell you, you guys, he knows what? He knows what the last two lines of the poem are going to be, because that's the way the poem works. The second stanza ends with the first line. The third stanza ends with the third line. And it goes back and forth, back and
There's
forth.
like a cycle?
Yes. And the poem at the end, and this is true of any villanelle, the last two lines of the poem are always the first and the third line squished together. So when I read this poem, forget what it means. I think Luke's right about the waking to sleep. Regardless of what it means, I already know how the poem's going to end when I read the first three lines.
So it's kind of
Now, Logan Rutledge, how does that relate to the novel we're reading? How does that relate to the Tralfamadorian concept of time?
They can see all points at once, however, in whichever way they want to.
Including which critical point?
I think about Billy, I think.
Okay, yeah, about Billy. But the point is, they already know how things end. Right?
Mm-hmm.
Because all time exists. If we go back to, stop sharing. Gemma, does that make sense to you? Shen, does that make sense?
Yeah.
Claire? So he chooses a villanelle because the form of a villanelle is the same as, where is, so this, no, that's not what I want. Hang on, shoot. Stop sharing. Stop sharing. Where is, share this. Now I can't find it. Shoot. Waking now, the waking now. No. Okay, well here's a better version of the poem. The point is, the Tralfamadorians say that all time exists. Billy's unstuck in time. So if we thought of this as birth and this is death, we already know in these first three lines, we already know how things are going to end. It's deterministic. This is a deterministic poem, just like time is deterministic in the novel. Does that sort of make sense? Is that pretty cool?
That's so weird.
I think it's great. So what else? What else about the book? Let's go we may get kicked off here. Another 5-10 minutes. What other questions you guys have about the book? Anything?
Not really.
Are you enjoying
have
the book?
nothing.
Yeah, it's quite good.
Okay, Logan likes it. Jake is kind of ambivalent. Gemma, do you like this book or not?
I like it. It's interesting.
At least it's not that hard to read.
Nah.
Yeah.
Some of it's kind of weird. I mean, there's a lot of stuff we haven't talked about, like the Shetland pony and the girl, yuck, and the blood gutter and, you know, his buddy Weary, Roland Weary. So essentially, if we're going to go back and look at the chronology, what big events do we know have already happened in Billy's life that Billy's moving back and forth between?
Got drafted.
He got drafted when he was in school. What kind of school was he in?
Optometry.
Optometry school. And why optometry? Why not dentistry?
His dad already had like a
His
business.
dad had a business, or his father-in-law. He married into it, yeah. But think metaphorically, Kendall. What do you know, dentists fix your teeth? What do optometrists do?
Fix your
They
eye.
eyes.
They fix the way you see things.
Eyes.
Okay, and this book is trying to, you know, Vonnegut's trying to get us to see time in a different way. Whether he's, you know, full of crap or not, who knows? But in terms of the novel, it works. Optometry works. In that. Okay, so what he gets married. What happens to his wife?
He died. She died.
Died of carbon monoxide poisoning. So it goes. Wasn't his father killed in a hunting accident or something? Or
He was
father-in-law?
hunting a deer.
Right. And then there's a plane crash. And Billy's in a plane crash. He's the only survivor. And suddenly, well, and the main thing is what? He's there with Weary. He's this ridiculously unsuited soldier. He's actually a chaplain's assistant in the war. And he hooks up with these two scouts who get killed. So it goes. And Roland Weary, and they've been captured. They've been captured by the Germans. It's close to the end of the war. And all these captured Allied soldiers are being taken by the Germans to Dresden, to a prisoner of war camp. And again, it's toward the end of the war. The terrible stuff on the train, where they're stuck in this boxcar for 2 days. They have to dump their crap out the ventilator window and whatnot. And then we've got this this weird person, Montana Wildhack, whom we'll meet eventually. Other questions? I mean, does this make the book any less confusing so far or not?
Mm,
No, Jake, what do you think? Still confusing?
Not really. It's fine.
it's
Fine
confusing
is a
in
pretty
general.
lukewarm endorsement. All righty. Where did Julian go? Oh, there he is up there. Yeah. So anyway, how much do you want to read for Wednesday? 1 chapter or 2 chapters?
One.
One.
One
One.
These are
One's
pretty
nice.
long. These are pretty long chapters.
Great.
Let's see. 4 goes to. Is anybody listening to the book?
I am.
I am.
How's that working out? Is that a good recording or
Might
not?
start doing that.
I
It's
prefer
pretty
doing
good.
that than reading.
It helps
Really
You
helpful.
know,
Part of
because
it.
I'll,
Otherwise, I just
understand
did on
it
its
a
own.
little more.
Let's read chapters 4 and 5. Chapter 4 only goes. It's only like
Oh.
10. It's only 20 pages. Let me see where chapter 5 goes to. Hang on chapter 5. Yeah, where's chapter 6? Hang on. You know, we're only, yeah, okay. That'd be page 195. That'd be 100 pages. That's too much. Okay. So we're just going to read chapter 4 for Wednesday. Any ideas on how we can make this? Yeah. Any ideas how we can make this class work better? Is it working okay?
Working good.
I think
Yeah.
it's okay.
Yeah, works.
Okay.
Chilling.
Good enough then. So I'm going to let you guys go. You can use the rest of what would be our class period to read. consider those discussion questions. If you haven't posted to the discussion blog, go ahead and do that so I can give you credit for it. And if you talk to, again, who are we missing? We're missing Nicole. Who else?
Dylan.
Sean is class.
Pablo.
Okay.
John, I
And
think too.
Logan.
On, yeah.
Okay. I will get a hold of those guys. If you talk to them or text them or Snapchat or FaceTime with them, tell them that the recording of this class will be posted on the Schoology page under links to recorded classes. All righty? How are things going otherwise?
All
How are the other classes going? Pretty well?
Good.
Yeah,
Yep.
it's okay.
Not too bad?
Yeah.
They're fine.
Not too bad? Okay.
They're
Shen,
getting like less confusing.
what's that?
They're getting less confusing.
Are you
So,
lost
like everybody's like figuring it out. You
Good.
know?
Warming up.
Good.
Like at the beginning of the week, all the teachers were like, I don't know what I'm doing, but now they're better.
Okay.
AP classes suck.
What's
no,
that?
but AP stuff is cut down, I think. I mean,
I know it is cut
minus.
down. Still, AP bio is not a good time.
I
That means the goals,